version will be live and streamable on all networks across all channels. And so that is taking place now. So if you can just withhold any comments that may be a little questionable for the public. We appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Dee. So let's see who we got all here. Dee?
Yes, Chair.
Lee Walkup will be joining us both for public comment and for purposes of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
Good evening, Derek. I'm going to repeat it. So we are working with communications now to make sure that the stream is available across all channels. And so that test run is happening now. So if you want, you can keep yourself on mute, take yourself off camera.
Sure.
And we have some people in the waiting room, but we will wait for this test and then let them in.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Dee, did you say put ourselves on mute or off camera?
Whichever you prefer, you can stay on
Okay.
camera and you can keep yourself off of mute. Just make sure that there's no extra background noise that we don't want the public to pick up on.
Okay. I do have a small fan kind of going off in the background, but I don't think that sound should be coming through. If it is, let me know and I'll push it further back or turn it off.
Nope, I don't hear it.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. No, Joyce, I cannot hear you, but confirming that we are live on all channels. So, okay. Joyce is having mic issues, but Joyce, let me know if you are ready. Staff, if someone would not mind, when we get to roll call, if you wouldn't mind taking the lead on that while Joyce works out her technical issues, and Chair, whenever you are ready, I can begin to let the public in and we can start. Let me stop sharing my screen now.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I like to call the October 26th meeting of the Disabilities Advisory Board for the City of West Hollywood to order. This also happens to be our annual televised awards meeting where we will be recognizing and honoring persons who have done a lot of service for the various disabilities communities and on behalf of the disabilities communities for the City of West Hollywood. So I would like to take a moment of personal privilege and dedicate this meeting to the memory of Michael Arrigo.
Recording in progress.
This meeting is being recorded.
The memory of Michael Arrigo.
Recording in progress. This meeting is being recorded.
Step. I think we have an audio delay. I don't know if anyone else heard that feedback. I apologize for jumping in there. Step.
Maybe all should be on mute except the chair or whoever is speaking. Including the mayor.
about that. Never let computer glitches not happen if they're capable of happening. So again, welcome to tonight's meeting of the Disabilities Advisory Board and our annual televised meeting where we'll be honoring persons and organizations who have helped serve the with and on behalf of the various disabled communities in the city of West Hollywood, and as advocates for those many people in our city who are living with disabilities on a daily basis. So again, calling the meeting to order, and again, I would also like to dedicate this meeting in memory of our former longtime member, Michael Arrigo, who passed since our last meeting. Michael had been on the Disabilities Advisory Board, put in many years of service, both to this body and to other organizations that have served the disabilities community, including Access Paratransit and the MTA's user advisory body. And we all owe him a deep debt of gratitude. Michael struggled despite, or in part because of his many disabilities, and we will miss him. And so this meeting will be dedicated in memory of him, and also one of our honorees this evening, that being Dina Sauer, who also is a former member of this board, who will be honored in her absence with her passing also earlier this year. So with that said, let's move on with the meeting. So the West Hollywood Disabilities Advisory Board advises that the land on which we gather, and that is currently known as the City of West Hollywood, is the occupied, unceded, and seized territory of the Gabrielino Tongva and Gabrielino Kizh peoples. In an effort to protect public health and to prevent the spread of coronavirus, AB 361 has authorized public meetings to take place via teleconference because state and local officials are recommending measures to promote social distancing, and that is still the case with this body, and will be the case until the end of the year. So, so for folks who would like to participate by e-comment to better facilitate the remote meeting, members of the public who wish to comment on matters of the Disabilities Advisory Board are strongly encouraged to submit an email to jbritton, that's JBRITTON at weho.org, no later than 4 p.m. today, but we will be forgiving on that, on the Disabilities Advisory Board meeting today, or to call into the meeting. To participate by providing public comments by telephone, please include your name, phone number from which you will be calling, and which item you would like to speak on. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes. We can fudge a little bit on that, time permitting, but the dial-in number is 669-900-6833. The meeting ID is 818-4011-2413. Again, dial-in phone number 669-900-6833. Meeting ID 818-4011-2413. Please mute your phone until you are called on to speak. Comments from the public are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, although again, we'll fudge a little bit on that. In the interest of keeping things to within the 2-hour time limit that this meeting is being recorded, I'd like to, with your indulgence, please keep that to 2 minutes. You may participate and view the meeting via Zoom, the Zoom platform, and And when entering the meeting, please make sure to turn off your video and to mute your audio until called upon. The Zoom meeting data address is listed on the city's website for this body. So without further ado, with the meeting called to order, I would like to ask for the Pledge of Allegiance. And the former Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, Lee Walkup, will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Lee Walkup has many years service with the United States Navy. We have many veterans in this city, many of whom are dealing with disabilities of various sorts, including Lee himself, some of them just service related, some not. And without further ado, Lee Walkup, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Mr. Chair, and staff. If you'll put your right hand over your heart and follow after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lee. Clerk, will you please call the roll? Would that be, I don't know whether that would be Joan or Dee?
I can call it. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. All right. Board Member Blood.
Here. Hi.
Board Member Duray.
Here.
Board Member Friedman.
Here.
Board Member Gomez is absent tonight. Board Member Simonko.
Here.
Board Member Smith. Board Member Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Nash.
Here.
Chair Watts.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
I'd like to move to approve the agenda for this evening.
I second that.
So the motion has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Will staff please call the roll for the ayes and nays?
Board Member Blood.
Aye.
Board Member Duray.
Aye.
Board Member Friedman.
Aye.
Board Member Gomez. I'm sorry, he's absent. Board Member Simonko.
Aye.
Board Member Smith.
Aye.
Vice Chair Nash.
Aye.
Chair Watts.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Let's see. Public comment. Staff, do we have anyone in the waiting room for public comment?
Yes, we have Chair Walkup from the Senior Advisory Board would like to speak.
Okay.
If you'd like to go ahead and unmute yourself, and you may begin speaking, and you have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. Again, Madam Mayor, Chair Watts, and members of the board. Yes, I am a veteran, I should say. Yes, I did serve in the Navy, and I was a former lieutenant commander in the U.S. Navy. There are many members of the dual and multiple communities in West Hollywood that are veterans, that are disabled for one reason or another, and that are members of other communities that make them a fuller and bigger and more wonderful person to us. I know that the VA, the Veterans Administration, does run health facilities. They have a large facility in West Los Angeles, just west of the 405 freeway, and it includes a hospital and housing services and other veterans services. Veterans are accommodated in the Veterans Administration hierarchy on a basis of injuries that may have occurred while in the service. This starts at a level, I think, of a level 8, which is nothing service related, and goes all the way down to 1, in which they are severely disabled as a consequence of service-related injuries and difficulties. I personally do not use their services at this time. I haven't had occasion to, except to try to get started in the COVID vaccination. And that was one avenue that I didn't get to do before I found it elsewhere. I urge you to, when you think of yourself as a disabled person, you're not really disabled, you are enabled in a different way. And that is that you perhaps have limitations in some particular field, but you
Please
have
continue.
you have opportunities that make up for that, and you have situations that make you equate to a full-fledged human being. So I thank you for the evening, for the opportunity to address you, and wish you a Godspeed in this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander Walker. For consent calendar, that we have nothing under that. Do we have other?
We have a couple more comments.
Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, so next up we have Danny Hang, who would like to speak.
Great.
Danny, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and your time begins now. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, everybody. Greetings, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, and board members. My name is Danny, and I am a resident of West Hollywood. October is Disabilities Awareness Month, and this year marks the 32nd anniversary of the passage of the ADA, a landmark civil rights legislation that works to increase access and opportunity for people with disabilities across society, including the workplace. I want to congratulate and thank the board for your many accomplishments this year. Thank you for your tireless advocacy in championing the voices for the disabled community. I also want to congratulate all of tonight's Disability Service awardees. Thank you for your continuous work in being the guiding light for not only people with disabilities, but the wider community as well. You all in one way or another highlight and educate on disability-related issues or directly service the disabled community. I attended the outdoor flu and COVID-19 vaccination clinic at Plummer Park last week. It was a resounding success with a huge turnout. It was great to see most of the board members and their smiling faces. Although I missed board member Friedman by about 10 minutes, which was a bummer, I'm thankful I get to see her smiley face tonight. The board's collaboration with Cedars-Sinai to administer the vaccines continues to save lives and keeps our community safe. The Cedars staff were amazing in administering both of my shots, and I didn't feel a thing. Also present at the event were representatives from our safety and law enforcement, city departmental staff, and voter education and registration. It was a successful one-stop shop to bring the community together to not only educate, but also help keep us all safe. And lastly, I wanted to thank the incredible Joan Mithers. It was wonderful working with Joan during my time on the DAB. Joan, you are the glue that holds the DAB together and keeps things running smoothly. Thank you for your service to the city. And Joan, I wish you well in your retirement. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny Hang, who I hasten to add is a former member of this body until the last, within the last year. Danny is now serving on, I believe, the Business Licensing Commission. Do we have any other members that are currently in the waiting room or any other members of the public that are currently in the waiting room for public comment?
If anyone would like to speak for public comment, now is the time. Just use the raised hand feature and you'll be called upon in the order that you are seen.
And again, at this point, I'm going to take my prerogative and we'll go for the full 3 minutes unless we run into a time crunch at some point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Would anybody like to speak? Now is your time. Please use your raise hand feature.
I can't find my raise my raise the hand feature. This is Stephanie Harker. May I speak?
Yes, you may.
Go right ahead.
I can find the unmute, but not the hand. Anyway, Stephanie Harker, City of West Hollywood. I just wanted to thank all of the board members for their continued service, not only to the disabled community, but to all of the citizens in West Hollywood. You all are always an inspiration to me. I also want to thank staff for having a signer on Zoom tonight. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, signer. And I want to congratulate all of the recipients of the service awards this evening. It's very important, and we thank them for their continued contribution to the community. Have a lovely meeting.
Thank you, Stephanie. Staff, do we have anyone else in the waiting room or wishing to do a public comment?
Yes.
Dee?
You're on mute.
Great.
Yes.
Joyce, you were
So
muted.
sorry. It looks like we don't have anyone else at this
We
time.
do.
So
I see I'm sorry,
Oh.
Joyce. I see the hand of Wendy Arnold.
okay.
Oh.
Wendy, you can go ahead and mute yourself, and you have 3 minutes.
Yes, thank you very much. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the board members and to thank the council for every bit of good work that you do for the city of West Hollywood. I'd also like to take this moment to thank Yola Dore, who has been instrumental in fostering the nomination of the former candidate, but now recipient of one of the awards posthumously, Miss Dina Sauer Bauman. I am speaking on behalf of Dina, who is an extraordinary woman and is very well deserved of this award. Dina's contribution to the disabled community was immeasurable, is immeasurable. And Dina, though she is so sorely missed by all of us, Dina did so much to stop the discrimination of people living with disabilities, but she also made all of us who are experiencing challenges, she made all of us feel empowered to speak up, even though we can't do what we used to be able to do. And she spoke with such compassion and such endearment that she has blessed each and every one of us. And she's blessed us individually and collectively as a board that is now part of the council meeting. So I just wanted to say thank you and sincerely to Yola for putting together the nomination papers. And I also so sincerely want to thank Donna and Jean Sauer for what they have done with their daughter, for their daughter, on behalf of the Disabilities Advisory Board of the City of West Hollywood. And I thank all of you for your, once again, your superb and well appreciated work. So that was my only comment for tonight.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Staff, do we have anyone else wishing to make a public comment at this time or in the waiting room?
No one else has their hand raised at this moment.
All righty.
So
all right. Well, folks, if there is another waiting period reserved for general comment later in the meeting towards the end for those who could not be heard at this time. As for the consent calendar that we would normally be dealing with, that is being deferred until the next meeting when we will act on that retroactively to affirm it, as it were, and also for purposes of minutes from our prior meeting. So that said, let's move on to new business. The Disabilities Advisory Board achievements. The board will review the accomplishments for this year.
Rick,
yes,
I'm supposed to do that.
you go right ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Annie Simonko.
I am a member of the Disabilities Board. I've been a member for quite a few years and off and on. And I've lived here for like, I've lived in West Hollywood for like 37 years now. And I'm just gonna go running through, throughout the year, the board received educational presentations focused on services available to and information affecting people living with disabilities. The board received updates on the city's Aging in Place initiative, rent stabilization and housing division, and legislative affairs. Informational presentations were made by the Coalition for Economic Survival and the Center for Healthcare Rights, who presented the changes in Medi-Cal and Medicare. West Hollywood Community Partners contracted to provide services to people with disabilities. Jewish Family Services West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center and the Disabilities Community Resource Center, better known as DCRC, presented on their services and work in West Hollywood. As part of the social services funding process, the Disabilities Board has discussed service priorities and selected a representative to share those priorities with the Human Services Commission. The board has given them input to the transit staff as they begin a transition to the new microtransit program, hopefully, which will start at the beginning of the year, hopefully. A DAB representative has been serving on the city's Vision Zero task force and gave input on the city's dockless mobility project. And of course, there is a selection of the awardees tonight. And I want to welcome the people in the audience and WehoTV, and also want to welcome the awardees and our members of City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Simalko. I'd like to back up briefly. I believe I overlooked Board Member Smith. I think she also has some remarks on historical context and general achievements as well. Board Member Smith.
Thank you. I want to congratulate our awardees tonight. To give you a little history, I joined the board in 2013. At that point, the chair was Larry Block. Members were Annie Simonko, Rick Watts, Suzanne Dietrich, Jim Chudd, Michael Arrigo, Marco Colantino, and Thomas De Lorenzo. Our staff support were Corey Plank and David Juni. As you recognize tonight, we have several of these members that are deceased. Suzanne Dietrich, Jim Chudd, and most recently our beloved Michael Arrigo. We met in that first year to determine if the feasibility of creating a health fair. And we had created these ad hoc committees with the permission of the city council and our chief city clerk. We did come up with something, and it was our staff that really put forth the effort in conjunction with Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. We did at Plummer Park our first health fair, which consisted of the vaccination for pneumonia and flu. We also did health screening using for cholesterol, blood sugar. We did blood pressure. And then later on, we went on and did other types of screening. And one year, one of our later years, after board member Friedman joined us, we had one that had all of these vendors for different ability aids or hacks that you can use to help you with various disabilities. And I must say our health fair was a really big success. I think our biggest attendance was close to 300 people without providing food. And then we also did events for National Night Out. We also went and served at a table with the Social Services Department at the National Night Out at the Gateway. And members of the board served at that function. And we also advocated for voting rights for disabled and were present with voting booths at some of these meetings. And that's just a little synopsis of what we early on started, and I'm happy to see we're still continuing even with this COVID pandemic to offer some of the health services through our health fair and vaccination clinic. I want to thank the staff and the city council and our great service from our local hospital, Cedars-Sinai. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Smith, former Chair Smith. And I hasten to add that I seem to recall that the initial health screening event back in 2013 was Board Member Smith's brainchild, which others certainly contributed to in making sure that it happened, and not least of which was staff. But I want to give credit where credit is due. And so this was the health screening event that we had just a week ago, where dozens and dozens and dozens of COVID vaccines, flu vaccines that will help to keep people healthy and out of the hospital. Not to mention that blood pressure screenings. This was the 10th year that this has gone on, and hopefully this will continue as a tradition of the Disabilities Advisory Board, thanks to the efforts of Board Member Smith and others 10 years back. So moving on, let's see here. So the Cedars-Sinai Community Health Program, in partnership with the Disabilities Advisory Board, held that flu and COVID vaccination clinic, including the bivalent boosters, the new and improved version, this past Thursday on the 20th October. Cedars-Sinai again provided, I forget the exact number, but it was an awful lot of COVID bivalent booster vaccines and flu vaccinations. He also provided the blood pressure screenings and registration to vote. Thank goodness, with the help of staff, please, if you've not already voted, vote. Do not forget. And then there was also a gift of fresh fruit and produce for those who could use a little extra help with their household budgets. And it really was a one-stop shop. So getting on to the Disability Service Award presentations, we're now moving on to what you've all been waiting for, the 2022 Disability Service Award presentations. Before we begin, our Mayor, Lauren Meister, has a proclamation from the City Council in recognition of Disabilities Awareness Month. Mayor Meister,
Yes,
floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair Watts, and welcome everyone, whether you're viewing from home or wherever you are. We're glad to have you here for our 24th Annual Disability Service Awards. It's always also so great to hear of all the accomplishments that the Disability Advisory Board has brought forward. Every year, it's always something new, and it's very exciting. So thank you for all your work, and to all of the awardees and to the nominees. Congratulations on your efforts. I'm going to read this as, on behalf of City Council and really on behalf of the whole city. I'd like to present this proclamation for National Disability Awareness Month, which is October. Whereas National Disability Awareness Month is observed annually in October to increase awareness about people living with disabilities and emphasize the importance of inclusive policies and practices. And in 1945, Congress dedicated the month of October to recognize and celebrate individuals with disabilities, both past and present. And whereas the month continues to be observed as a way to pay tribute to all who fought for better laws, demanded better treatment, and overcame ignorance and indifference to make our communities better. And whereas the City of West Hollywood has a strong commitment to providing a range of services, resources, and programming for residents and visitors living with disabilities. And on October 20th, 2022, the Disabilities Advisory Board partnered with the city and Cedars-Sinai Medical Center to organize a vaccination event at Plummer Park, which provided free seasonal flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines, including the booster, blood pressure, education and screening, voter registration. And whereas on October 26, 2022, the city is hosting the 24th Annual Disability Service Awards and broadcasting the ceremony at specially televised Disabilities Advisory Board meeting. The Disability Service Awards will extend recognition to this year's honorees for their continued dedication to equality and awareness for people with disabilities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of West Hollywood hereby recognizes the month of October as National Disability Awareness Month and urges citizens to join the celebration of awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Meister. With apologies due to Zoom, here's the proclamation that'll be available for folks to view at our subsequent meetings, which will be returning in person after the first of the year, finally. Thanks again in no small part to the COVID vaccines, and also thanks in no small part to the efforts of this board to help keep people healthy and out of the hospital. Thank you, Mayor. That said, moving on, I'd like to welcome Mayor Pro Tem Seppi Shine and Board Member Blood.
Excuse me, Chair.
Oh,
we were the
yes.
first one was Mayor Meister was going to go ahead. Along with Vice Chair Nash to do the business award.
I'm sorry, I overlooked that. Please accept my apologies. Go right ahead. Vice Chair Nash and Mayor Meister.
Thank you very much, Chair Watts. So I'm here to, with Board Member Nash, to present the Business Award to the Pavilions of West Hollywood. The City of West Hollywood and its Disabilities Advisory Board are proud to present the 2022 Disability Service Award for a business to Pavilions West Hollywood. Pavilions is committed to a workplace that reflects the rich diversity of the communities they serve, highlighting courtesy, dignity, and respect as the three foundations of their workplace. The staff of the West Hollywood Pavilions create an environment of inclusion and do not hesitate to go above and beyond for every customer. Pavilions demonstrates their commitment to advocacy by hosting a yearly Boost Their Ability fundraiser and the proceeds provide grants to local nonprofits that serve people with disabilities. Board Member Nash.
Thank you, Mayor Meister. I'm so happy you joined us tonight. Pavilions caught my attention sometime late last century when I walked in the store, being a person who's is affected by legal blindness. I was so happy and grateful that they offered to help me find any product that I needed in the store. And they've consistently done that, not just for legally blind people, but for anyone with disabilities ever since that first visit there. It's such a great comfort to be taken directly to a product that you're looking for rather than wandering around the store aimlessly searching. And I appreciate so much that extra touch of service, that welcoming, and that always willing to be helpful to anyone with disabilities. Thank you so much to the staff at Pavilions. And again, thank you, Mayor Meister, for helping us honor them.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nash and Board Member Shine. We have a representative of, I'm sorry, I said Board Member Shine. Do we have a representative of Pavilions present to accept the award? Staff?
We
It looks
did
like
have, I see
Ashley is
Ashley.
here from Pavilions.
Oh, great.
Her hand is up.
Great. If you go ahead, please.
Ashley, you're muted.
Could you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Are we good? Hi. So yes, I am Ashley. I'm the concierge of the store, and my store manager couldn't be with me tonight, but we thank you guys so much. Us at the store, we really appreciate the fact that we were considered for this award and that we got this award. And on behalf of Letitia Perez and all of our associates at the store, we thank each and every one of you for considering us for this award. So thank you so much. And Mayor Meister said it all. So that's all that I have for you today.
Thank you, Ashley. And congratulations to you and to Pavilions for the award. And thank you for your service to the disabilities communities over many years. I know your store has over the many years your presence in under one store name or another, starting with Safeway and then Vons and Pavilions, given an awful lot back to the community through not only assistance in helping people shop who are living with various disabilities, as Vice Chair Nash described, but also through your contributions to the community in terms of donations of food and discounts to various service organizations. So thank you very, very much. And it is an award richly deserved, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Now moving on to like to welcome Mayor Pro Tem Seppi Shine and Board Member Blood to present the nonprofit award to the West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center and Jewish Family Services.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you to the entire board for your service this year and all of your incredible accomplishments, and to staff. I have the pleasure of presenting the City of West Hollywood and its Disabilities Advisory Board. I have the pleasure to present the 2022 Disability Service Award for a nonprofit to the West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center, Jewish Family Services, LA. The disability program of the Comprehensive Services Center provides services to adults aged 18 to 55 with disabilities. In this program, clients can receive an abundance of support, including referrals to community resources, advocacy assistance, home installation of assistive devices, ongoing case management, and in-home care. We thank JFS LA for continuing to be a compassionate resource to our community members with disabilities. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Board Member Blood.
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Shine, for that introduction. This actually happened to be one of my nominees for this award, and I thank the board for agreeing with me, although there are, of course, always so many great candidates. When people seek to find services in the city of West Hollywood, JFS LA and through our WeHo Comprehensive Services truly is really the place to go. As someone who's personally utilized their services in a time that was a rather dire crisis, and I'd use that phrase not lightly. I had reached out to West Hollywood Comprehensive Services while I was going through, and as our board knows, as I spoke about when I was in a domestic violence situation, without any hesitations, they stepped in rather immediately, made quite literally the impossible possible for me to literally move out of the situation that I was in. So in so many ways, I just have so much gratitude and thanks. The way that their staff worked with me with no judgment, with understanding, care, that was so genuine. I'm so grateful to have them serving folks in our city, especially those living with disabilities and who might not be ordinarily able to find such a way to get out of such a serious situation. So although that is a rather personal introduction, I did want to really speak to it on that level, because I think it's really important for folks in our community to realize that we do have such incredible service providers here in our city, including this wonderful nonprofit. So with that, I would like to welcome, I believe Marina Berkman might be here to accept this award. If there are other representatives, of course, Marina can also advise on that. So thank you so much for being here, and also congratulations to the other nominees. Yeah, WeHo Comprehensive Services and JFSL mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for being here, and congratulations.
Thank you, Board Member.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Marina Berkman, and I'm the director of West Hollywood Comprehensive Service Center. Dear board members, first of all, congratulations with the very successful Disability Awareness Month and with all your successful events that took place in October. I want to, it's my honor to accept this award, and I do that on behalf of our disability program and with great pleasure, and I accept it with appreciation for acknowledging everything that we are able to do for the community of people who live with disabilities. And I have to tell you that we work with many people in our community, and while providing services to people with disabilities, we always feel inspired by them and by many of you, by your example. And you always demonstrate to us and you show us how one can live meaningful and fulfilling life in spite of all the challenges. And this is a great example of how one can overcome their limitations and continue living very, very interesting, supportive life, bringing some help to others. And you know, this is always an inspiration for us, and you always serve as an example for all of us. And just recently, one of our social workers, after working with young person who lives with terrible physical disabilities, she came to my office and she was crying. She said, this person has so many limitations and she still leads very fulfilling life. She's helping others and she's there fully present in her life and in the life of others. And she said, what can we even complain about? We need to take these people as example for us and let them serve as the inspiration. So with great appreciation again, I accept this award. This is great pleasure and great honor for all of us. And thank you, Board Member Blood, for your kind words of acknowledging the services that we provided. It's very, very nice of you to say those words. Thank you. And thank you all. And thank you, the staff, because without you and without the City of West Hollywood, nothing of that would be possible. Thank you again.
Thank you, Marina. We have, let's see here. I guess moving on to the next award, it would be Councilmember John Erickson and Board Member Mikey Friedman, although I've just been informed that Board Member Erickson had something come up and will not be available to step out. So I understand that Board Member Friedman will be presenting the media award to Paulo Murillo of WeHo Times. By the way, I just want to just to give a heads up to folks and specifically to staff and Board Member Nash that I'm having some charging issues on my device, and so it is possible I may be knocked offline, in which case I'm going to have to rejoin from a different device, namely Lee Walkuff's computer over in his room over on the other side of the living room here. So just a heads up on that. Board Member Friedman, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. And before I present this award to Paulo Murillo, I just want to tell Ms. Bergman and the lady Ashley from Pavilions how much you mean in my life. You have helped me more than I can ever tell you, and I am incredibly grateful and always will be, as I know many members of this board are grateful to both of you. Pavilions, you're wonderful. JFS, and I want to thank Sharon and Danny and Phil and all the people who help me every week. Anyway, I am lucky enough to be able to tell you what Council Member Erickson was going to say, because I have his words right in front of me. So I'm going to read to you that the City of West Hollywood and its Disabilities Advisory Board are happy to present the 2022 Disability Service Award for Media to Paulo Murillo. Paulo is the editor-in-chief and publisher of WeHo Times, an online news source covering West Hollywood. Through the publication, he brings awareness to issues relevant to community members with disabilities. Mr. Murillo has for over 20 years of experience. He has over 20 years of experience as a columnist, reporter, and photojournalist. Now, what I was going to say was Mr. Murillo began his professional career in West Hollywood as the author of a lifestyle column. Now, in his role at WeHo Times, he continues to promote, support, and report on West Hollywood current events, including those events which affect the lives of people with disabilities. Mr. Murillo also writes a column where community members can share their journey in recovering from addiction to drugs to alcohol. In all his work, he uses his experience and expertise to improve the community. Paulo, you are receiving this award because you provide a valuable service to us by making the public aware of the everyday challenges people with disabilities face, and by making sure that we are never dismissed nor overlooked. So I would like to present this award to Paolo Murillo. Congratulations. Paolo, are you here? If you are here, please unmute yourself and accept this award.
Staff, is Paolo Murillo in?
He is here.
Can you see me?
We can hear you.
Uh,
Is your camera off? There we go. There we
Oh, there we go. Hi there.
Okay. Hello. Wow, that introduction just blew my mind. I forgot everything I wanted to say tonight. Thank you so much to the Disabilities Advisory Board for this incredible and unexpected.
You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you hear anything that I just said?
We missed part of it. Go ahead.
I just
Start
wanted,
again.
Huh?
Start again.
Okay. I just wanted to say, well, first of all, that introduction just blew my mind. And I will try to remember everything I meant to say tonight. So first of all, I want to thank Patrick Ryan Blood for nominating me. I hear it was a unanimous decision, which makes me feel so seen and supported and inspired to do more. I was in Kauai celebrating my 50th birthday when I received the notice that I was being honored by the DAB, and it just made my birthday that much more special. The big 5-0, I was tripping. I was like, oh my God, it's a big number, and you definitely lifted my spirits. So when I first learned about this award, I'm very hard on myself, and I didn't think I did enough. I don't, I always think about the story I missed. I think about the blurry picture, and this award basically tells me that it reminds me that it's not about me, it's about service, it's about spreading information, and I'm very inspired and honored to know that that it has helped various communities, including the disabilities community. Rick Watts basically reminded me that people in recovery suffer from mental health issues, and he reminded me of all the work that I've done in the past 15 years that I've been sober, whether it's resources, whether it's profiles, whether it's sharing my own personal stories, or uplifting the voices of people in the recovery community. I thank him for reminding me that mental health issues are a disability, and I know many people. Well, I know many people personally who we've lost in West Hollywood due to issues with overdoses or suicide. So that work is important to me. It's a work that I've done, and it's helped me stay the course. Oh my God! So this award has been uplifting, and it's also a pull up to do more profiles, to spread more information, and I just want to say thank you. I'm deeply, deeply honored. It was very unexpected, and I'm inspired to do some good. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and keep up the good work, Paolo. And personal, I'm floored to hear here that you're 50. You should still be getting carded. Thank you very much, and keep up the good work, Paolo.
Thank you.
So moving on, the final award of the evening is the Lovely Bright and Differently Abled Individual Award, which this year will be presented posthumously to Ms. Dina Sauer-Baumann by Council Member John D'Amico and Board Member Yola DeRay to Ms. Sauer-Bowman's parents, Donna and Jean Sauer. Donna was a member of this body in years past, and with some great service to not only to the Disabilities Advisory Board, but to the city writ large, and to the various disabilities communities in West Hollywood. Without further ado, Council Member D'Amico and Board Member Gray, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everyone. And I want to give this award that I'm about to be talking about all the time and important consideration that it deserves. But I just want to go back to say that, you know, I met Paolo 29 years ago, and he has been giving to this community for at least that long. And I just want to say that, you know, as one of the sort of final things, the final official things that I'm doing, it's really a joy for me to see all of these awards and the personal sort of experiences that I've had with all the members of this body, and the awardees as well. And so, Paulo, I just want to wish you such big congratulations. And I agree, 50 years old, you haven't changed a bit. You looked 50 29 years ago. So, and that's a compliment I used to give to Gene Dobrin. Gene, 92, you looked 92 30 years ago when I met you. But so I'm passing that on to you, Paulo, with all the love and dear respect. Thank you everyone for allowing me to do that. And now on to the Lovedee Bryden Differently Abled Individual Award to Dina Sauer Bauman. And, you know, I have such deep admiration for Dina's parents, and specifically for Donna, who has been a guiding light for me for many, many years, when she worked for Sal, when she was helping me to learn my own way in my early days and years on the city council. And so it's my pleasure, and the city of West Hollywood and its Disability Advisory Board's pleasure, and with pride we announce and present the 2022 Lovedee Bryden Differently Abled Individual Award posthumously to Dina Sauer Bauman. Dina Sauer Bauman was a brilliant advocate for people with disabilities, serving as a member of the West Hollywood Disability Advisory Board, volunteering at Melrose Elementary School, Path Shelter, and with PEP LA, a peer education program. She was a beautiful, non-judgmental service member, served as a role model for others, showing all that could be accomplished regardless of disability. And Yola, it's your turn.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember D'Amico. My friend Dina had a joyous spirit, a contagious giggle that captivated all that heard her stories, especially the teens dealing with the challenges of HIV/AIDS. She was an amazing person who lived with multiple disabilities, and yet Dina took the high road to share what she had learned with others. Because of her advocacy, others had hope, countless hope. And tonight, I want to introduce you to her lovely parents who helped make all that possible. Please welcome Donna and Jean Sauer to accept the Lovedee Bryden Differently Able Individual Award, honoring their daughter, Dina Sauer Bowman. Donna, Jean. Could somebody,
Staff
alert-
is Donna and Jean in the room?
they're on a phone.
We are not seeing a phone. That we did earlier, so
Let's see.
they may have been lost from here.
Okay.
But you can go ahead, and if they rejoin in the meeting, we will stop whatever we're doing and get them through.
Okay. I just, folks, I want to make a personal observation that Councilmember D'Amico alluded that Dina's mother, Donna, who will be joining us momentarily, hopefully, if we can get through the gremlins. Donna was the council aide to late Councilman Sal Carrillo, who is a longtime member of the West Hollywood City Council, who served almost, I want to say, almost to age 90 when he passed. Anyway, Donna helped keep things going for Sal and made sure that his service to the city was efficient and effective. I also want to make a quick comment about council member and former Mayor Pro Tem and former Mayor D'Amico over his 8 years, that John began his service with the city of West Hollywood as a member of the Disabilities Advisory Board, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, John?
Yeah, that's correct. That was in 1995.
Yeah, a long time ago. When you were what, about 15?
When I was 32 but looked 60.
So what were the, obviously at that, in 1995, the city was in the full throes of the latter stages of the full throes of the HIV/AIDS epidemic that killed, I think, something on the order, I seem to remember hearing former council member Duran say something on the order of 10,000 of
that might have been an exaggeration of the number of residents, certainly in this area, Hollywood, West Hollywood, South LA. I think the city of West Hollywood had a smaller number, but we actually spent a lot of time talking about the development of the Santa Monica Boulevard redesign, making sure that the crosswalks were taking into consideration the Americans with Disability Act and accessibility around crossing the streets and clearing the tree wells and making sure the bus shelters were all in order. And also the East Side Gateway project was also part of what was discussed during my tenure. So some of these things that we now see and take for granted, and in fact, maybe need some additional look-sees as we're talking about making walking along our boulevards and sharing or not sharing our streets with other modes of transit and transportation, bicycles, scooters, e-bikes, etc. Those are all, early 20th century inventions that were not in consideration back in 1995. So cities are never finished. That's what we know. And After 12 years of being on the city council, I know that new city council members and new board members and commissioners will take all that into consideration as this city continues to evolve and revolve around our residents, including those with disabilities.
Your experience and your expertise and are certainly informed your service to us all, John. Thank you. Yes, Board Member DeRay.
Yes, I'm reaching out to the honoree, and the problem is our safari or whatever would not let them into the meeting. Just to let you know that.
Okay.
Whatever, they did the numbers and everything, and they couldn't get into the meeting.
Okay. Then maybe we can do it just by a call-in.
Well, that's what they were doing, is calling in, but they couldn't get through. So I have no idea. Maybe let me get her back and see if she wants to just call into the meeting.
Yeah, it might be a better solution if we can't get
Chair Watts, if you want to move forward, and then if the Sowers are able to get through, we can stop at any point and give them the floor. Absolutely. But if you want to go ahead, if otherwise staff will reach out to them, but that will be after.
Okay. All right. Well, then moving on, if you with the forgiveness of all participants, we're going to move forward temporarily and then come back to Donna and Jean as soon as they're able to join us. Dee, do we have anyone in the public comment section at this point?
They're trying to call in now, Chair.
Okay.
If there's anyone in the room that would like to speak for public comment, please feel free now to raise your hand or unmute yourself. No, Chair, it doesn't look like there's anyone.
Okay. All right. Then moving on from that, and we can circle back to that again as well after Gina and Donna are able to come in. Do we have items from staff?
We do. There goes Derek.
We do. We have one item from staff. So
thank you, Derek.
The request, of course, and this is a request. This can be done by consensus, not by vote. The staff are requesting that we move the December meeting to November 16th at the same time from 6 to 8 p.m. because the city needs the Disability Advisory Board's feedback on gender neutral restrooms and out zones. So if by consensus, that's okay, staff can go and schedule the November 16th meeting for the same time, 6 to 8 p.m.
Okay, just a point of information, Derek, for Vice Chair Nash and my information. Will I assume also that the pre-meeting will also take place 2 meetings prior to that, or 2 days prior to that?
Yes,
as normal, but just a couple weeks before.
By the way, I do see the call-in user, Chair. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to
go right ahead.
You see a call-in user just.
And I can come back to this.
And I want to make sure that we. Sorry, Chair, but with respect, I just want to make sure in case that is one of our honorees. I apologize.
Okay. Staff, can you see?
There's a call-in user 2. Call-in user 2. If you are here and you're Donna Sauer, please unmute yourself and feel free to accept the award and say a few words.
She may not know how to unmute herself. *6, I believe, is the way that happens.
That's correct. *6.
Yes. Caller, please press *6 to unmute yourself. Caller, hit star.
You were unmuted for a moment.
Caller, you're still evidently muted. Try again.
They're unmuted. They're unmuted, Chair.
Great. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
They keep telling me I'm on mute and I'm not.
Oh, there. Oh, go ahead.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes,
Go right ahead.
ma'am.
Please identify yourself.
Hello.
Hi, Donna. Speak up just a little bit, please.
Is this Donna?
Okay. Yes, it's Donna Starr and my husband Dean Starr.
Hi, welcome, Donna and Jean.
Thank you. I'm sorry we got confused this evening.
We've been dealing with gremlins this evening. It happens. Don't worry about it.
So
Welcome.
maybe it's not entirely our fault.
Speak up, my dear, so we can hear you.
Okay, I'm talking as loud as I can.
Okay. Maybe a little closer to the microphone.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna have my husband say a few words. Maybe you'll be able to hear him a little better.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, good. Listen, I want to thank you very much on behalf of Dina, Donna, and myself for this award. It will be cherished and remembered. I wanted to mention that Dina was a person of love. She had a great sense of humor. She cared about other people. What more could a father want?
Absolutely.
And as far as any disabilities of hers, she struggled with them. We started looking for abilities in people rather than disabilities, and I think that helped. Anyway, the city of West Hollywood does an excellent job with those in need, and we want to thank the city and thank you very much for listening to my words, and I wish you all a good evening. Here's Donna.
Thank you, Donna. Go right ahead.
I hope you can hear me. I also want to thank you for honoring my.
Donna, are you still there?
Yeah, for some reason she's.
Okay. Donna, if you're still there, might try to unmute again. We seem to have lost your voice there temporarily.
Just know we absolutely are so proud of you. We're so pleased and honored to bestow this award for Dina, but not only for Dina, but to both of you for the grand job you've done. And we appreciate all your service and all the joy.
Thank you very much, y'all. Thank you so much.
Dean, Dina and the service that she rendered to the city, to homeless persons and persons with disabilities would not have been possible without the love and support and guidance of Donna and yourself over the years in raising her to be a good and contributing member of society and a loving daughter of your own.
Thank you for those heartfelt words. Thank you so much for those heartfelt words.
And your dear friend, Council Member John D'Amico is in the queue here, saying beautiful words earlier that I guess you never got to hear, but he is here. And
thank you,
if
John.
he'll unmute, I hope, and say a few before we.
I think it would make
Go
sense
ahead.
for us to send a link to the couple of moments, Yola, that you and I took to talk about Dina, and we can certainly ask the staff to email that to Jean and Donna. I think that would be something that they could easily do. And Jean and Donna, with great appreciation and love, we thank you for all of your family.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Jean. And
you're quite welcome.
Thank you, Dina, wherever you are, for all that you did for our community and for the folks who needed the work and contributions and love that you gave to them.
very kind, soothing thoughts. Thank you.
Moving on, or actually kind of moving back here, I think we were on items from staff. Derek, I think you were in the midst of.
Yeah, so thank you,
items.
Chair Watch. So staff is requesting that the Disabilities Advisory Board move their meeting from December 7th to November 16th so that the board can provide input on both the gender neutral restrooms and the out zones. And if there is consensus among the board, we will go ahead and schedule that for November 16th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
My consent, Chair, does that mean do we need to a vote, or is that kind of a more of a let's raise our hands
if there's consensus? Well, if there's objections to it, just let us know now. Like a scheduling
I'm raising my hand in
conflict.
support of that.
Okay.
Everybody raise your hands or thumbs down, as the case may be.
Okay, it looks like there's consensus among the board, so we'll send an invite for November 16th, and we'll schedule an agenda review with you, Chair, and Vice Chair Nash. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, all right. So just, I'm sorry, Derek, to clarify, the pre-meeting for Vice Chair Nash and myself will be 2 days prior to that, correct? On
Correct.
the 14th?
If you're available, and we'll definitely schedule offline.
Sounds good to me. Board Member Nash, is that
Yes.
work for you? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so be it. Now, items from board members.
Could we finish with staff, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go right ahead. I didn't mean to step on anybody's toes there.
No stepping on toes, but we want to finish up with board members. And I do want to be able to say a few words to the board.
Yeah.
Please, go right ahead, Joan.
So I am Joan Mithers, Social Services Program Administrator and Staff Liaison to the DAB. The first thing I want to say is that next year, when you hopefully have your in-person service awards, my hope is that you will all think about the technological challenges that we had this time and just have a good chuckle about it, because nothing speaks to the times like some of the challenges we had tonight. So I do want to congratulate the honorees, and I want to congratulate the board for another productive and meaningful year. Special thanks to last year's chair, Patrick Blood, for an amazing job. And congratulations to the new chair, Rick Watts, and vice chair, David Nash. The theme that you selected for tonight was perseverance, security, and hope. And I feel that these are qualities that the Disability Advisory Board members show each and every day. You lead by example, and the bar is set high. I respect and admire your passion, hard work, and commitment to making the community and the world a better place. West Hollywood is really fortunate to have this board. As you know, I'm retiring, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to work with and get to know you over the last 6 years. I know the board will continue its important work, and you have great staff to support you moving forward. I so appreciate you and the time we've spent together, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you, Joan.
Thank you for letting me speak.
We will miss you, but please do not be a stranger. And feel free to call any of us, call our cell, drop us an email. We will miss you and go on to bigger and better things after some well-deserved morning sleeping in.
Thank you so much.
And Chair, it looks like the mayor has her hand up.
Yes, go ahead, Mayor.
Just before I go, I just want to say, Joan, thank you so much for your service, and congratulations on retirement. And I hope it's whatever the next chapter is, that it's wonderful and restful and all the things that you want it to be. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much.
Of West Hollywood. Thank you all for letting me interject. Okay.
Thank you for joining us and for those kind words, Mayor Meister. And thank you, Joan, for everything that you have done for this board and for our city, and the citizens of our city over the many years that you have served with us, and no doubt will do in other capacities, whether you remain here in West Hollywood or Greater LA or move on to different pastures. Our law, in which case our loss will be their blessing. So now, let's see. Circling back one last time for public comment. Do we have anyone in the queue or in the room wishing to make a public comment?
No one has their hand raised.
All right. Then moving on, let's go ahead and go to items from board members. Let's see. Again, my apologies. I am doing this from iPhone, so I don't have everybody's all the participants and everybody in front of me. So I'm going to let staff, if you would please go through there. But I believe board member Blood, I think you're first in the alphabet, so you go right ahead and we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much, Chair Watts, for that. I really appreciate it. I did get a little emotional just now, but I will save that towards the end. John just made a couple statements. So I took off camera for a second. I'm going to recompose, but I'm ready to go. So I'm going to go back to where I was going to go, but I start crying at the end. I always apologize. Actually, I will never apologize for crying for how I feel. So you know what? We're just roll with it. So, all right. So, so my comments for this evening, actor and activist Christopher Reeves once said, a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. One of our themes for this evening was about perseverance. And so I found that quote quite in line with one of our themes for this evening. I look around to my fellow board members, and this quote is ever true. None of you would ever consider yourself a hero, but I find you guys my hero. And I said a gender pronoun. I find it y'all my heroes. I'm inspired by each and every one of you. I am new to the board. I think this is my second or third year on the board. I'm just so inspired by each of you on this board who have shared your passion for advocacy for persons living with disabilities in our city. Our heroes be honored tonight. Anyone who is nominated and won a service award, you are a hero. Thank you. To our city staff who render services day in and day out to our community, thank you. You are a hero. There are no shortages of heroes in this beautiful city that we call West Hollywood. As several people randomly mentioned tonight, this past year, I'd be privileged and honored before Rick Watts, who is so knowledgeable and gave me so much guidance when I acted as chair over the past term. It was such a privilege and honor. I always sign off on meetings with mentioning it's the favorite part of my month, spending my time with this board, with our community, and with public, and with everybody knowing how we believe and what we feel as a board. And it's such an honor and privilege. One of the reasons is because the passion each of you bring. There was so much passion here tonight. This is one of my favorite meetings of the year because we get to discuss and talk about those individuals, organizations, and people who are making an impact for people living with disabilities on an everyday life. And it was a tough night for me. When I talked about JFSLA, West Hollywood Comprehensive Services, I kind of barely could pull it together, but I did my best. And I know we all always do our best. And it's everyone here, whether from the public or city council, thank you for coming and introducing our honorees this evening, and for recognizing that we are not an afterthought. And by we, I mean people living with disabilities. We're not an afterthought. We're on your forefront. And that's something I've spoken about many times to this board is I've been broken down and beaten down by hearing other commissions, boards, and even council itself, as much as I love everyone on council, saying we didn't think about that. And everyone on this board knows exactly what I mean by that. I say, when I've attended this meeting and they say, hey, we didn't think about that, that means persons living with disabilities. But the fact that we are all discussing these issues, it means that we are progressing. Even 32 years after the ADA has been passed, we are still fighting to be seen and to be heard. But this beautiful city of West Hollywood gives me so much hope. It gives me so much pride to be a resident and so much pride to be a member of this board. While the pandemic, COVID-19 continues, I have seen our community, persons living with disabilities, rally behind getting vaccinated for COVID-19, monkeypox, anything that affects our communities, and including you, Chair Rick Watts. You always remind people, don't forget about HIV and AIDS, which have took so many lives of people of our community. And it's one of these things where I am just so blessed to be surrounded by folks who are so comprehensively thinking about everything. And we are making such an impact as a board. And I'm just so humbled to even be on this board with all of you. It is really something that has enriched my life in a way that I could never have imagined. I have professional and personal friendships with our board members, with our council, with our public at large. And that's how we accomplish change. And it is my great pleasure this evening that we have our nominees as well as our awardees this evening who had made an impact on all of our lives. So thank you everybody who joined this evening. It really does not go unrecognized. And that's, I think, why we have these awards, is to make sure that you know that you are valued in our community for servicing our community in a way that is so impactful. So as I will always close out with every meeting that I always say, is this has been the best part of my month, is spending my evening with my fellow board members and city staff. Could not have done it without any of you. And Joan, whatever you do next, just know that we are all here and in loving support of you, or at least I think we all are. I can't speak for everybody. I never can, right? I can only speak for myself, but you are so beloved, and thank you so much for everything you have done for me personally and done for our board. And Derek, I see your face. I know you're here back just for this meeting. I always feel the same way about you, and I'm just so grateful for city staff who, without you, I just don't. I don't know where our board or our city would be. It's just truly incredible. And I think recognized how much social services does for our city. And so as a board member, as a resident, as a person, thank you, city staff. And with that, that will conclude my board member comments for the evening. Thank you.
Chair Watts, you're on mute.
Thank you, board member and former chair Blood. Let's see, I think we have board member DeRay. I think you're up next.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And thank you, everyone. we've had to persevere the past few years dealing with COVID, food insecurities, and being the forgotten minority. So many folks didn't seem to recognize persons with disabilities in this city. That didn't include the people here. That didn't include our staff. But it was obvious in the hands of others, because sometimes they didn't realize the challenges that persons with disabilities were going through in COVID. They didn't realize that people were all alone sometimes dealing with this pandemic and not knowing which way to turn. We somehow then went from that to our own personal security. Things like accessibility and public safety became a huge issue to this board, but not only to us, persons with disabilities, but to our community. Sometimes as we began to mention these things to others, it seemed like they didn't listen. It seemed like disability was an afterthought. When they came before us, it seemed it was impossible for them to even mention the word. Can you imagine that? Well, over time, I began to have hope because of the work this board does, because of the dedication others in the community showed, because people joined us and said, my goodness, these people have something valuable to say. And things have begun to improve. And disability now is more than an afterthought. People are beginning now. It's not accomplished. The word is beginning to see some of the things that persons with disabilities deal with. But the good side is we have to work together, you and I, and a community beside us, to make people see these challenges. There are opportunities, but we need to focus, as one person said, on our abilities. Just because we walk to the step of a different drummer doesn't mean we're lost, and it doesn't mean we can't do. It means we can, and we need to create the opportunity for that to happen. Thank you. Now, insofar as our staff, I'd like to take a moment to let them know how much they are appreciated. We will miss you more than ever, Joan. I can't begin to tell you personally what that means to me. And I am so grateful we have Derek back joining us for a while. We've missed him too. But we're very lucky to have Ms. D and Ms. Joyce joining us, as well as Becca, our intern, who might become staff, who's to know. And Becca, by the way, went to school in my neck of the woods. She went to Tulane, and that makes everything right. She knows what good food and good people are all about. So we're blessed, and I'm blessed to work with you and to have you be my peers. Thank you so much for a beautiful meeting.
Thank you, Board Member Duray and former Chair Duray. Let's see here. I think next up we've got Board Member Friedman.
Hello, and thank you very much. This was a wonderful meeting. And I might in my board member comments sound a little combative, but when you're disabled, when you live with a disability, you fight for everything, and you fight to be recognized, and you fight not to be thought of as damaged goods. And luckily, if people are able to pull away that shell, they see that you're just another human being just like they are. So first, congratulations to all of our award recipients, and thank you so much for your dedication to helping people with disabilities. We are so grateful that you care enough to help the community, all of the people, not just the people who are able-bodied. And of course, how I want to thank the wonderful staff, without whom we wouldn't be able to have this event or any event, probably. They do everything. We show up and talk a lot. No, we do more than that. But anyway, I'll miss Joni more than I can even put into words. Not only is she extremely intelligent and efficient, but she's kind and she's caring. And she's probably one of the nicest human beings I've ever met. I'm going to miss her terribly. But Derek, I'm really glad to see your face and see you in the meeting and see your kitty cat too. And it's very comforting. You know, I struggled with writing my board member comments on this because of this year's theme, perseverance, security, and hope. I was going to tell you, these noble and inspiring stories of how I've overcome challenges. But you know what? That's in the past. We have to look forward to the future. And it's hard to think about all of these three words together, especially fitting in perseverance, hope, and security with these other two words. But then I will never, ever stop hoping for the security of people with disabilities. And because of this hope, I'm going to persevere, as I know our entire board will, to keep our people safe. We're going to get those scooters, those e-bikes, and those delivery robots off the streets and sidewalks of West Hollywood. They are dangerous to all pedestrians, but particularly they threaten the security of our disabled community. We are proud human beings who deal with challenges every single day of our lives. And sometimes we have to deal with unnecessary challenges that are put in our paths by thoughtless people. And even by some of our leaders who don't seem to consider our needs when making decisions. Well, we're fighters, and we're going to make sure those days end, and that we're going to let them know we may be disabled, but oh boy, we're not quiet. So God bless you. God bless you all. And I hope we all persevere in having a safe, secure holiday season and a happy 2023. But I also want to ask, does this mean we're not going to have a December meeting this year?
That is my understanding, although if staff, please feel free to correct.
That's correct. We're moving up the
Okay.
December meeting where we're going to have this discussion about gender neutral bathrooms and out zones, but it needs to be done sooner for council. So we're going to have it in November.
Okay, well then, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and I wish you all good health and happiness. I love you all very much.
Well, don't get too far ahead of yourself. We do have that November 16th meeting.
Oh yeah, but we're going to be talking about important stuff there. I may forget.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, board member and former chair Friedman. So let's see here now. Board member Simonko, floor is yours.
Hi. This past year, because of some medical issues, I have learned to believe in myself and fight for myself, but I've also learned to that the telecheck from from JFS and the JFS cares, I've learned that you have to at some point you have to reach out and ask. If you don't ask, they won't know. And I'm grateful to both I'm also grateful to the to Francisco and the transportation department. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Nina from the bus subsidy department is retiring as well. And I will miss her as well. And I would like to thank the entire social staff for helping me this year and reaching and helping me reach out to different organizations, particularly Joan. So and I look forward to working with the new staff, with Joyce Moore and Dee definitely. And Derek, please don't retire for a while. But and I and like I'm grateful for every member on this disabilities board. Like I said, I have learned to fight for myself, and I have learned to reach out. Because again, if anyone out there says, well, you know, I don't really need that help, you never know. So just reach out and ask. If a particular organization can't help you, they will forward you to someone else that can. So make and Becca too. I don't want to forget you because you were so much fun at the health fair. But like I said, DCRC as well. I'm very grateful to DCRC. And everybody have a happy new year. And I hope everybody has a good physical new year as well as a mental new year. Thanks.
Thank you, Board Member Simonko and former Chair Simonko.
Yeah, we've had that round.
Board Member Smith, you're up. Floor is yours.
It's hardly anything.
Probably former Chair Smith as well, I would imagine.
Everybody.
Chair Watts, I would imagine former Chair Smith as well.
Yes. We all served our dues.
Yeah, everybody gets a turn.
And I'm almost speechless here. I'm never usually totally speechless, but you know, serving on this board has been a very interesting experience for me, a good experience. And, you know, I just love West Hollywood. It's like, even all the bickering that goes on, it still comes together as a little village. And we're so dependent on each other here. And we do persevere as a board. We persevered. I hope we continue to persevere. And we have to make our needs known. And I think we have, and I think we will continue. I'll have to give Mikey, our board member Friedman, kudos for making sure that it's not forgotten that our sidewalks are not safe for us. And I hope our city leaders hear us, and we will continue this mantra. And I can't say enough for the staff that supported us through all of my tenure on this board. And I appreciate everything you've done for us. I wish Joan a wonderful retirement. I can speak for being retired 12 years now, and I sure wouldn't want to go back. I had to deal with the AIDS crisis when that hit. And that was very challenging in my field. And I'm still not through that whole experience. It changed all of us, and COVID now has changed all of us. And I don't want to look back. I think we can only look forward and how we can help each other. Because I think we've all had somewhat of a personality change because of COVID. We've all become a little more introspective, but also more isolated. And we need to work on making sure that we don't become too isolated. Anyway, I want to thank all of my fellow board members, and maybe past tense since Councilmember D'Amico is retiring. But it's been such a pleasure to serve with you. And again, thank you all.
Thank you, Board Member Smith. And again, also former Chair Smith, and for your many years of service with us as well. I want to interject briefly before we go on to Vice Chair Nash's comments that in addition to Joan's retirement, David Juni retired as of last Friday as head of social services. David, where he's going to end up ultimately is a bit of a question, as I understand it, somewhere out on the East Coast. But I'm sure we wish him all well, and he and Joan and Derek and Dee, you folks kind of really keep the ship running for the rest of us. Otherwise, we would all be floundering, and I especially would be floundering, even as I did tonight. Without further ado, Vice Chair Nash, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Tonight I want to start with a list of thank yous. First, I want to give a special shout out to my friend Donna Sauer and share with you all that Donna was the first person to engage with me from the city. She picked me up at Plummer Park, and that began a wonderful friendship and in interaction with the city. I thank Donna so much for that and for being my friend all these years. I'd also like to thank David Juni, who I'll miss greatly. And I will forever think of dancing David Juni. We all know his quiet secret that before he began his work in social services, that he danced with Madonna. And I think of him always as a person who knows the joy of dancing, as did I, and do I. I still love to dance. And I want to say goodbye and thank you to Joan Mithers, who's been extremely helpful to me. And one of the things that was difficult for me as I faced my eyesight declining in the time I've been here in West Hollywood was I just thought it was an awful thing to engage with the Braille Institute. It sounded like some cold, dark place where I was going to learn to feel the bumps and read that way. And through support and encouragement, I reached out and found out that it was a place of great joy and learning, and re-engaged with me in the joy of music. Taught me that you didn't need to see to be able to learn new songs. I greatly appreciated that. I greatly appreciate DCRC for helping me with assistive technology, which has truly enhanced and changed my life. And I just want to encourage anyone that may be listening or watching tonight to engage with our city staff. They're a wonderful group of people who are always supportive and helpful, and you may not know what lies ahead for you if you pick up the phone and make a call and reach out and ask for help. So please don't hesitate to turn to our city staff. I thank the members that I previously served and are retiring, and I look forward to the new faces that we'll meet. But I know that anyone that is working forward with the city of West Hollywood is there to help. And I thank you so much for all the help you've given me and the help and service you provided to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nash. And again, at the risk of being a little bit redundant, but certainly no less deserved, I want to again also thank our awardees tonight. Dina Sauer, by way of her parents, Jean and Donna Sauer's acceptance on her behalf, and thank you, Jean and Donna, for giving her to our, or lending her to this city and our community and to the world, and raising an excellent person who did a lot of good in this world, and whose work continues to live on, and whose and in that respect is your legacy too lives on through her service. Also, thank you to Paula Murillo, who has risen above a disability that an enormous number of people in not only West Hollywood, but in California and this country and this planet deal with, namely substance addiction and the issues underlying those. And Paula, you are a role model for folks, and a light pointing the way to dealing with, confronting the issue, and dealing with the truth of your own experience, and moving forward to become a contributing member, an even more contributing member to society. It is an inspiration to everyone, and something that the various disabilities communities, not only substance issues, but also persons dealing with sight, mobility, hearing, cognitive, and various other disabilities, all can look forward to your example, as well as to the example of persons that deal with disabilities every day, and provide courage to all of us, the persons on this board. And you never know who may be looking to your example, and that you're giving some courage to. And also to Pavilions, as a business that has done an awful lot of good for our community, and who continues to do so in serving both persons with disabilities and the public writ large, in feeding us, helping us to find what we need to feed ourselves. You do good work, and you are a good corporate citizen, and many people patronize you, and for good reason. So again, thank you for that. And thank you for Mayor Meister, and to Councilman D'Amico for your years of service as well, and for joining us this evening in honoring this year's winners of the Disabilities Service Awards. And then to staff also, I want to thank you for again, for helping us keep it all together, and to keep us organized and moving in an organized fashion to do the work that that this city needs us to do. Because there are a lot of people with various disabilities, both legacy disabilities, whether dealing with HIV and AIDS from that pandemic, to the many people who are going to be dealing with disabilities related to COVID in the years ahead. Staff, we couldn't do it without you. The city couldn't do it without you. And so thank you especially to Joan and to David for your many years of service. And we wish you all well in your retirement, and look forward to continuing to work with David and Dee and to other members of the staff and to volunteers and our intern at City Hall. To those of you who, well, if you look over my shoulder, you see this nicely designed kitchen in the back. It's actually just a photo of kitchen of the place out in Palm Springs. But what I'm looking at right now, if I look over the camera, I'm looking over at two bookcases that I've got literally hundreds of books, probably the preponderance of which are history, social sciences related. I've always been a history buff, and going all the way back to high school, where I actually aced virtually every one of my tests in high school and college. And there were a lot of lessons that and inspirations that are embedded in those books, and warnings. Our flag that we set allegiance to earlier this evening, it's not just a piece of cloth. It's a symbol. And when some 240 years ago, this country came together to throw off an oppressive government. What ultimately became the American Revolution, and a few years later, dealing with the disorganization of the Articles of Confederation, and the founders realized that they had to come together and sacrifice a lot of their self-interests if we're going to survive as a country. And so they birthed the Constitution that governs what became a republic, which gave us all the right to vote, to govern ourselves, with the recognition that if we don't hang together, we will hang separately. And we see that same courage and vision and danger in not only in our own country these days, and the sacrifices that persons who have fought on our behalf to preserve those rights, but also in the courage of another country on the other side of the planet right now, whose national colors are gold and blue. I would be remiss if I didn't remind us all that the war ongoing in Ukraine actually started on the night of our February meeting. And it continues to this day, and it continues to inspire people around the world, what they are fighting for and how they are fighting it. Another thing that you may or may not notice, a lot of you haven't seen me in person for a while, but you may remember that if you see me in person, you'll see on my jacket, I'll generally have various pins of from this or that event or organization, or just things that mean special things to me. One of these at the top on my jacket here it just says hope. I got this at the 2008 Democratic National Convention in Denver. And hope is something that I think binds us all together. It is imperative when we're dealing with dark times, whether persons with disabilities that are dealing with a new disability or an illness, whether it is persons that are dealing with threats in war. It is what carries us through the nights of the years of our existence, and it is what we have to all look for and grasp where we can. it is what helps us find meaning in life. It is what inspired the founders of our country. It is what inspired the founders of the LGBT civil rights movement, which began not just in the 1970s or even in 1969. It predated the Stonewall Uprising, and gave birth to the various organizations that helped create the critical mass that acted on those nights back in June of 1969, but going back even further, and gave the founders of the LGBT movement and those who were gay, lesbian, transgender, even when they had to exist in the darkness, the ability to get through that darkness and to exist and find hope and meaning in their lives. I also on here have the pink ribbon for breast cancer awareness. As all too many women know, who have experienced breast cancer, who are experiencing it now, or who have family members who have experienced it and who are in fear of having to deal with it themselves at some point. That ribbon represents hope. And this being also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it bears remembering that pink ribbon and the courage that those women find to get through their night, and to look towards the light that hope places in their lives. And the other ribbon I have on here is the red ribbon, which is the red ribbon of hope for that was birthed in the earlier years of the AIDS pandemic, something that has killed some 35 million people across this world since it first raised its head back in the late 70s and early 80s, and still affects tens of millions of people around the world today. Although thankfully we have medicines that enable many people to live long lives, particularly in this country and in advanced economies. There are many people around the world in less developed places that do not have access to that. But where hope may be the only thing that gets them through the night. But the work that the folks dealing with HIV/AIDS back in the 1980s, their courage, their hope, led to the advancements that found solutions that helped people who live after them to continue living after them. All of these things are things which persons with disabilities deal with on an ongoing basis, and I think that persons with disabilities have a lot to share, and a lesson that all the world should have to learn. And I'm very proud. Actually, I'm humbled to be able to serve this body, and to serve with you, my colleagues, and to serve our city. This is indeed, and you may also remember seeing me in a lot of t-shirts, this is indeed Team West Hollywood, as this shirt says. So the last thing that I have to say before I sign off here is, if you haven't yet voted, please, 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 please vote. Again, those people who showed so much courage and found hope 240 years ago, we owe them that. We owe that also to the veterans who have helped protect that right for us all. I have no further comments, and I think we are now actually a little bit over time. So if there's nothing else, I would entertain a...
Chair? Yes, Chair. I would like to entertain a motion to end our evening in commemoration and remembrance of Mike Arrigo, as well as in honor of all of our honorees, of course, this evening. And that would be my motion. Of course, Dina would be part of that, as she was an honoree already. So be in honor of Mike Arrigo and then as well as our honorees. I would make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I second that motion.
All righty. Hearing no objection. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, folks. We'll see you on the 16th of November.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you all.
Recording stopped.
Good night.
Incredible,
Good night.
everybody. Hey, have a great night.
Good job, Cher.
Sorry for crying, y'all. I've cried a couple times. I'm
you're
like,
a big crybaby.
I'm like stuffed up in a mess over here, y'all. So have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Bye, John. I'll talk
Bye,
to you
Joan.
before you go.
Give us a ring.
Tony.
Ahoy, hoy! I'm Nick Catelli for WehoTV News. And hey, did you guys know that we have a West Hollywood, wait for it, official app? Yeah, I just blew your mind. And it includes a variety of features and functions to help connect West